Snow fell thick and relentless across the suburban road, swallowing sidewalks, cars, and rooftops beneath a heavy white silence. The wind howled between buildings, rattling loose signs and driving the cold straight through bone and fabric alike. Archie Lewis stepped out of the closing supermarket just as the automatic doors slid shut behind him for the night. He pulled his coat tighter around his broad shoulders, bracing himself for the short walk to his aging pickup truck. He was tired, bone-deep tired. Another extra shift stocking shelves, unloading trucks, doing whatever the manager asked because overtime meant groceries, and groceries meant his 7-year-old son Leo wouldn't have to notice how tight things really were. That was when he heard it. "Mr. Please." The voice was small, trembling, almost swallowed by the wind. Archie turned toward the edge of the parking lot, where the flickering light barely reached. A little girl stood there alone in the storm. Snow clung to her dark hair. Her thin jacket was soaked through. Her cheeks were flushed red from the cold, and her eyes, wide, panicked, searched his face like he might disappear as she blinked. "My mom never came home," she said. "I waited all night." Archie's chest tightened. He had seen fear before. In the mountains, in ravines, in blizzards far worse than this. 7 years in mountain rescue had shown him the exact look people wore when they thought they might not survive the night. But this was different. This was a child. He knelt in front of her without hesitation, unwinding his scarf and wrapping it around her shaking shoulders. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Audrey," she whispered. "Audrey Bennett. I'm 6. "Okay, Audrey," he said steadily. "Take me to your house." He didn't think. He didn't weigh the risks. He didn't calculate the cost. He only thought of Leo at home, curled by the space heater with crackers and the promise that Dad would be back soon. If it were Leo standing alone in a storm, Archie would pray someone stopped. Archie Lewis was 36, broad-shouldered, weathered, with calloused hands and early streaks of gray threading through dark hair. His eyes carried something heavier than exhaustion. 3 years ago, he had left mountain rescue after failing to reach a teammate in time. Marcus had slipped during a blizzard extraction. Archie had been 20 feet too far away, 20 seconds too late. That kind of guilt never really left. Since then, Archie had taken whatever work he could, warehouse shifts, delivery jobs, stocking shelves at midnight. Pride didn't matter anymore. Only survival. Audrey clung to his hand as they stepped into the storm. The wind hit them hard the moment they left the shelter of the store. Snow came sideways, stinging his face. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Audrey's small legs struggled through drifts that rose to her knees. "Stay close," Archie said. "Don't let go." "I won't," she promised, her tiny fingers gripping him with surprising strength. She explained in broken pieces between chattering teeth. Her mother, Alexandra, worked nights at a bar called the Lantern downtown. Audrey was used to evenings alone. Her mom always called before bed, always came home before sunrise. But not this time. The power went out, Audrey said. The phone died. I waited and waited, but she didn't come. Forest Road, she told him, at the end where pavement turned to gravel and trees blocked out the sky. Archie briefly considered driving, but he knew the roads were impassable. Highway exits were likely closed. Tires wouldn't grip on this ice. They would have to walk. He managed a quick text to his neighbor, Mrs. Chun. "Please check on Leo. Emergency." The signal died seconds later. Then he lifted Audrey onto his back when the snow became too deep. The world narrowed to white and wind. Forest Road was worse. Houses were sparse, separated by stretches of woods that looked endless and untouched. Finally, Audrey pointed through the storm. "There," she whispered. "That's home." The house stood small and dark at the edge of the trees. Something was wrong. The front door hung slightly open. Snow drifted across the threshold. No lights, no warmth, no sign of life. Archie's instincts snapped into place. He stepped inside carefully, phone flashlight cutting through darkness. The air was freezing. Chairs overturned. Dishes shattered across the kitchen floor. A small table lay on its side. Signs of a struggle. "Mommy," Audrey called, her voice breaking. Only wind answered. Archie moved room to room, methodical, controlled. He found a cracked cell phone under the table. Dead. Near the back door, he noticed footprints in the snow outside. Heavy treads. Drag marks. Someone had been pulled. The tracks disappeared toward the woods. Archie crouched in front of Audrey. Has anyone been bothering your mom? Anyone she seemed scared of? Audrey nodded slowly. A black car. It parked down the street. Mommy would lock the door fast. A chill ran through him that had nothing to do with the cold. In Audrey's bedroom, beneath a mattress painted with faded glow-in-the-dark stars above, Archie found a small notebook. Mommy said if something happened, I should give that to someone I trust. Audrey said softly. Inside were work schedules. Inventory notes. Names written carefully. Some circled. Some marked with question marks. At the bottom of one page, circled 3 times in red ink. Bernie Crow. Archie knew the name. Lone Shark. Bar fights. Always slipping through legal cracks. They couldn't stay here. We're going to my house. Archie said. You'll be safe there. Then we find your mom. Promise? Audrey asked. Archie hesitated only a second. Promise. The walk back felt longer. His mind churned with possibilities. None of them good. By the time they reached his small apartment, his clothes were soaked through and his fingers numb. Leo was waiting by the heater, wrapped in a blanket. Dad? He asked, surprised to see the girl. Archie explained quickly while helping Audrey out of her wet coat. Leo disappeared into his room and returned with his warmest sweater. This one's really soft, he said shyly. For the first time, Audrey almost smiled. Later, after hot chocolate and crackers, after both children fell asleep curled together on the couch, Archie sat at his kitchen table with the notebook open before him. The lantern, industrial side of town, rough area, quiet. If Bernie Crow was involved, this wasn't random. Calling the police would have to wait until morning. The storm had crippled everything. Archie stared at the red circle name. He had spent 3 years trying not to care too deeply about anything. Caring meant risk, meant loss. But Audrey had walked through a blizzard because she believed someone good would help her. He couldn't fail her. Not again. When dawn came pale and frozen, Archie asked Mrs. Chan to watch the kids. Then he headed toward the lantern. The bar looked worse in daylight. Neon sign dark. Windows boarded against the storm. Inside, a bartender swept broken glass. We're closed, the man said. I'm looking for Alexandra Bennett. The bartender's face shifted. Haven't seen her since the night before last. She got into it with Bernie Crow. Saw something she shouldn't have. Asked too many questions. Where would he take her? The bartender hesitated. Then, old warehouse off Route 9. Used to be a lumber yard. Archie's pulse quickened. Route 9 lay 15 miles outside town. He found a plowed driver willing to take him partway. For $50 he couldn't afford. As they drove through the frozen wasteland, Archie thought about something else nagging at him. In Alexandra's house, he'd seen a photograph. Her and Audrey smiling. Behind them on the wall, barely visible, was a newspaper clipping. Local rescue team saves hiker. It tugged at his memory. The warehouse emerged through the snow like a skeleton. The plowed driver dropped him off a quarter-mile away. Archie approached on foot, circling the building carefully. Fresh tire tracks. A black sedan. Then, a muffled voice inside, calling for help. His training returned instantly. Calm. Assessment. Entry points. He slipped through a broken loading dock latch and entered the cavernous, freezing warehouse. In the center, tied to support beam, a woman, bruised, exhausted, barely conscious. Alexandra Bennett. Her eyes widened when she saw him. You, she whispered. Archie moved quickly, cutting through the ropes. I'm getting you out. But she shook her head, tears spilling. I know you, she said. You saved me before. Archie froze. 7 years ago, a hiking accident, a ravine, a terrified young woman clinging to his hand as he carried her down a mountain. It had been one of his last rescues before Marcus died, before everything fell apart. You told me I'd be okay, Alexander whispered. I told Audrey about you, about the man with the kind voice. The realization struck him hard. Audrey hadn't just trusted a stranger. She had trusted a story her mother once told her. Before Archie could respond, the warehouse door slammed open. Bernie Crow stood silhouetted, knife in hand. "Should have known someone would come looking," he growled. Archie stepped in front of Alexandra. "Let her go." Bernie lunged, and the fight began. Bernie was larger, heavier, fueled by rage. The knife flashed in the dim lantern light as he charged forward. Archie didn't think. He reacted. Years of rescue training had sharpened his instincts under pressure. He sidestepped the first swing, grabbing a loose plank from a pile of rotting lumber and knocking Bernie's arm aside. The blade scraped metal, sparks flying. Bernie roared and came again. Archie kicked over a stack of boards, creating a barrier. He stayed light on his feet, watching Bernie's shoulders, his grip, the angle of attack. Big men telegraphed their moves. When Bernie lunged a second time, Archie caught his wrist, twisting hard. The knife clattered across the concrete. Archie drove his shoulder into Bernie's torso, slamming him to the ground. They grappled, sliding across icy cement. Bernie swung blindly, catching Archie across the cheek. Pain exploded, but Archie held on. He pinned Bernie's arm behind his back, knee pressed into his spine. "It's over," Archie growled, breath ragged. Then, sirens, distant at first, then closer. Bernie froze. Warehouse doors burst open. 2 officers stormed in, weapons drawn. Within minutes, Bernie Crow was in handcuffs, shouting about lawyers as they dragged him away. Archie rushed back to Alexandra, cutting the last of the rope. She collapsed against him. "Audrey," she whispered. "She's safe," Archie said. "With my son." Tears streamed down her face. "You came back," she murmured. This time he had, at the hospital, warmth replaced the warehouse's frozen darkness. Alexander was treated for dehydration and bruising. Police questioned Archie, impressed and mildly horrified by his solo investigation. Bernie faced charges: kidnapping, assault, money laundering. Alexander's notebook would be key evidence. When Archie was finally allowed into her hospital room, she reached for his hand immediately. "I tried to thank you 7 years ago," she said softly. "I never got the chance." "You just did," he replied. She told him everything. How the lantern had seemed like stable work at first. How Bernie began using it to move dirty money, false invoices, cash transactions, threats. She started keeping notes in case she needed protection. Bernie found out. He dragged her out during the storm, thinking no one would come looking. He hadn't counted on Audrey, or on a man who refused to ignore a child in the snow. Archie told her about leaving rescue, about Marcus, about guilt. "I thought I didn't deserve to save anyone anymore," he admitted. Alexandra squeezed his hand. "Maybe this wasn't about deserving," she said. "Maybe it was about coming back." Days passed. The town dug out from the blizzard. Power returned. Roads reopened. Archie brought Audrey to the hospital every afternoon. Leo came too, bringing drawings and awkward jokes that made her laugh. The children bonded quickly. When Alexander was discharged, she had nowhere safe to go. Archie didn't hesitate. "Stay with us," he said, "until you figure things out." Weeks passed. A rhythm formed. Alexander cooked while Archie worked. Leo and Audrey did homework together. Evenings were filled with shared dinners and stories. It felt natural, like something broken, quietly mending. One morning, as snow melted under pale sunlight, Archie drove the kids to school. "Mr. Archie," Audrey said from the back seat. "Mommy told me you're the hero from the mountain." He smiled faintly. "I'm not a hero." Leo leaned forward. "That's exactly what heroes say, Dad." Archie's throat tightened. Maybe being a hero wasn't about perfection. Maybe it was about showing up. That night, after the children were asleep, Archie and Alexander sat at the kitchen table. "I've been thinking," she said softly. "We found each other twice. Maybe that means something." He looked at her, at the strength behind her vulnerability. "Maybe we stopped being 2 families surviving," she continued, "and try being 1 family living." Archie thought about Leo's laughter, Audrey's courage, the storm, the mountain, second chances. "I'd like that," he said quietly. Winter eased into gentler days. One afternoon, Soft snow fell again, but this time lightly, peacefully. Leo and Audrey built a crooked snow fort in the yard, laughing. Alexandra leaned against Archie's shoulder in the doorway. "Thank you," she whispered. "For trusting me," he replied. They walked together to the diner for hot chocolate. Audrey holding one of Archie's hands, Leo the other, Alexandra beside him. They looked like a family. They felt like one. The future was still uncertain. There would be bills, court dates, healing, hard days, but they would face them together. And somewhere deep inside, Archie heard the promise he had made on a mountain years ago, and again in a blizzard to a frightened little girl. Everything will be okay. This time he believed it.